All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Saturday Morning Tailgate podcast live on the Grid Network. I am Bryson Carver. That's Tim Barnard. That's Arthur Hurst. We're excited to be back after a week off, and I will say, fellas, I take complete ownership and blame for us not having a show last week. I was in Knoxville to see Tennessee UAB. I was supporting my squad, guys. I know that's, especially for a show like this, I think that's fair to say.
Squad. Your second squad.
It's my first squad. It's my first squad. Listen, just for that one game, okay? I was allowed to pull for my whole school. But Tim Barnard, listen, Tim, I'm very excited about Gator City later on today's show. How are you today?
I mean, when it comes to the Florida Gators, thank God we were on a bye week this week. It is just brutal. And, of course, you have the story with Ryan McGee coming out where last September the boosters were saying that they could have had Lane Kiffin by October. And now, if that's the case, granted, it's a whole year later, but I don't know. It's a train wreck. Billy Napier's got to freaking go, man.
I'm shocked that you haven't started the GoFundMe page yet to fund his buyout. I figured by now you would have had that up by now, and Florida Gator fans, I'm sure, would have chipped in. Arthur Hurst, a big game for Ohio State against the Washington Huskies. You'll obviously talk about that on Buckeyes Breakfast, but how are you doing this Saturday morning?
I'm doing good, man. I'm interested to see this road matchup between the Buckeyes and the Huskies. You know, this is going to be Saints' first true test. Not first true, but it's another true test since that Texas win in week 1. So I'm excited, man. The Huskies have been playing ball this year, right? And I'll talk about it during Buckeye Breakfast, but they've been balling this year. So this isn't a game you can really sleep on.
No question about it. And obviously my Vols have a game against Mississippi State. I have to admit, I'm a little nervous, guys. There's an element of that, and you'll see. There's a little bit of spoiler.
Oh, you should be. You should be.
I mean, they upset Arizona State, and we saw what Arizona State did last night. Their comeback win over TCU. Speaking of last night, let's get right into the action. So, Florida State, and I'll be honest, I'll be transparent for all three of us here. We all had Florida State pretty high in our top 25s, and that kind of got nixed after last night. Florida State losing to Virginia on the road in one of the great field stormings of all time after the interception overtime. There was a controversial catch, no catch. We'll touch on that in just a second. But, Tim, your thoughts on this game. Does this damage Florida State's college football playoff chances and probabilities?
I think it does. I mean, if you saw the stat, it's, Florida State lost that game. It was like a 19% chance they'd make the college football playoff. Now, let's be honest. It's the ACC. Yes, Virginia was 3-1 entering this game. Yes, Florida State was undefeated. We all had Florida State highly ranked coming off a massive win to start the year against Alabama. But here's the thing. It's the ACC. It's still an extremely weak conference. Yeah, you're going to have lucky teams here and there. I mean, when Boston College pulls out the red bandana, they can go against any top team in the ACC. So it's one of those situations where, as a Gator fan, how can I not love it? It was so electric last night, fun to watch, great game all around. But, I mean, it's a 12-team playoff format. The Florida State's going to come up, play Miami. So, that's going to be another true test for them. And that's why it's like, hey, I'm not concerned if I'm a Florida State fan in terms of making the college football playoff.
Well, that to me is why I've been in favor the last few years of the 12-team playoff, is that there is at least a margin for error. I mean, Arthur, you can speak to this. Your Buckeyes, in years past, that loss to Michigan would have been it. Like that Ohio State season would have been over. Instead, getting the postseason, they end up going on a pretty dominant run to win the Natty. Your thoughts on Florida State? Do you think this damaged their opportunity to make the playoff, especially, as Tim said, since they've got Miami next week?
I was literally about to say that. That Miami game next week does not help their situation at all. This would have been huge. If they win last night, and they lose next week, oh, well, they lose to the number 2 team, right? But you lose to an unranked team in the fashion that you did. You didn't come out and play well at all in the second half. You got bullied, right? And then, again, you have the catch, no catch thing with the wide receiver going out of bounds. And then you have a chance to possibly come back and do something. And then you throw in an interception. And again, like you said, record-breaking, one of the greatest field stormings of all time. But next week against the Miami Hurricanes, that does not help your chances at all. You would have had I would have said easily, for sure. They can, win this game and lose next week. They'll still be in the college football playoff. Again, the number 2 team. But if you lose next week, you're going to have a lot of ground you're going to have to cover. Again, Tim said it. It's the ACC. The ACC has been weak. So that's in their favor. But are you really wanting to put that pressure on you, right, for the rest of the season where you're trying to fight for your life when this is an easy game? Not even an easy game. It was good, man. It was a really good game, but there's no excuse as to why you don't pull this one off. I'm sorry. All respect to Virginia, but there's no reason why you don't pull this one off if you're Florida State. So I don't believe it hurts. I believe they just put themselves in a very tough spot where if you do not win next week, then your chances are looking very slim. And your hope is that 1 or 2 of the top 12 teams have an abysmal loss, and that helps you get in. But yeah, right now their chances of that, it does not look good.
Arthur, sorry, Bryson, but Arthur, do you consider Virginia like an abysmal team?
But that's the thing, dude.
Because no. Listen, I was going to say, because your loss
in that
to
second
Michigan
half,
last year is worse than this one.
That's fair.
Like, and again,
especially given how bad Michigan's pass game was.
Yeah, like that's my thing. Like, listen, I don't disagree with you that it's making it harder for Florida State to get in. Granted, a 2-loss team has still been able to get in the college football playoff, especially with the expanded version. That's why, listen, I'm looking at Virginia because I honestly was contemplating putting Virginia in my top 25. But obviously now I probably will.
Yeah, no question. Yeah.
So that's why I'm looking at this going, it's a bad loss. They are unranked, but I don't think it's as bad maybe as it could have been.
That's fair. And also, too, just looking at Florida State's schedule, for a while, and we're about to get into Clemson in just a second, speaking of the ACC being weak or disappointing or whatever the case may be. But you got it. Now, the good thing about the Miami game is that is a home game that is in Tallahassee. But outside of that, Pitt, Stanford, Wake Forest, Clemson, Virginia Tech, NC State, Florida. Like they don't play a ranked team the rest of the season, a currently ranked team the rest of the season after Miami next week. So if you can, at the very least, play Miami close, play them tough. I mean, the Hurricanes are very much in the national championship picture, the way that they've been playing this season and what they did last year, obviously, with the momentum coming into this year. You can see a scenario in which Florida State's 10-2. Yeah, the bad loss against Virginia, but you took Miami down to the wire and you took care of business the rest of the way. But speaking of, again, weak teams in the ACC, far and away the most disappointing team in college football has been the Clemson Tigers. I think that goes without saying. Listen, ironically, it looks like their week 1 loss to LSU is probably the best game on their schedule, their best performance. Hey, they took top 5 LSU down to the wire at home, albeit they got shut out in the second half. But week 2, they're down 16-3 to Troy of all teams. Then the very next week, lose to Georgia Tech in a walk-off field goal. Last week, get the doors blown off them at home by Syracuse. I'll start with you, Tim. 1-3. Should Dabo Swinney be on the hot seat finally?
Absolutely. And it's not only just because he's 1-3 right now. It's also because, one, several of those major losses happened in Death Valley. Like, my call out is to the Clemson fan base. Where the hell are you? This is quote-unquote Death Valley, which, of course, all 3 of us know the real Death Valley is in Baton Rouge. But even still, like, where are you? You're supposed to make this a hostile environment. Also, Dabo Swinney should also be, right, basically standing, not sitting on that hot seat because it's so hot, because he's been so open and honest about, I am not going into the transfer portal. I am only getting homegrown guys. It is absolutely ridiculous. He's not doing NIL. Like, he's going above and beyond to say, no, I am sticking to the true version of college football, which, on one hand, tip of the cap to you. Like, I appreciate that. But at the same time, you have to use everything in order to win, in order to get the competitive advantage and to keep your quote unquote dynasty alive. And he's not. And it's absolute malpractice from a college football head coach in today's day and age. It really is. So not only is him losing games, deserving of the hot seat, but also the fact that he's having a coaching and recruiting malpractice is basically why he can't sit down on that hot seat because it's so damn hot.
That's completely fair. I'll ask you this question, Arthur, and then I've got a take on it.
Hell yes. This isn't even a question. Yes. Like Tim said, stand on the damn chair. Do a little dance on it, okay? Hot toes, all right? Because it's so damn hot. Bruh, listen, we've talked about it all season. The lure is gone. The lure from them, from Alabama, it's gone, dude. It's nowhere in sight. It's a beautiful thing to see, to be honest. As a Buckeye fan, it's a lovely thing to see. But yeah, man, yes. Yeah, as Tim said, tip of the cap to you. I respect it. You wanting to stand on your guns. I don't respect the fact that you're in this denial. Okay, you're like this insane person who thinks that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I just got to keep, thugging it out and doing that. It's not going to be okay, dude. You lost, bro. You have 6 transfers, I'm pretty sure, on your squad. The team that you just got beat by has 16, and they're 3-1 right now in the season, and you're 1-3. How the hell are those roles flipped? Okay, I don't get it. Also, let's talk about this. The last time you were in the college football playoffs was the 2020 season. You played January 2021. Not
to cut you off, they were in the playoff last year, but yes.
Oh yeah, they were.
Last time they were in as a legit contender. Yeah.
They lost by 21 points to my Ohio State Buckeyes. That was a beautiful game by Justin Fields. I remember that very, very well. It was a nice revenge game for what happened the year before, right? Beautiful. Okay, so your last real bowl game before last year, right? December 29, 2023, against Kentucky. You only won by 3 points, right? So your records, 10-3 in 2021, 2022, 11-3, 9-4 in 2023, 8-5 in 2024. So you're 38-15 over that span, 2-1 bowl record over that span. And then again, last season, because why not? We're going to gift you all 12 teams for the college football playoff. So you've had 1. But before then, it was 0. It's been nilch. It's been nada. Dude, it's okay. All right, it is okay to adjust. It's okay to be new. It's okay to get with the times. Ohio State had Will Howard and Caleb Downs last year transfer. We win the national championship. Miami has Cam Ward over. They have a very good season. It's okay. Bro, Ohio State brings in Arvell Reese, transfer from North Carolina. He's doing very well on the defense. It's okay, dude. Just adjust to the times. Get with it. Because you're talking about winning. Y'all haven't won anything of substance recently. You haven't. You've been doing a lot of losing. Nobody's scared of you anymore. You're not one of the big dogs on campus. You're a little puppy. You're a chihuahua. Yeah, you ain't got no damn bass in your bark, bro. Okay? You're all bark. You ain't have no bite. So, yes, man, you should be on the hot seat. Look at, stand on it. Hell, it's so damn hot. There should be no chair for you to sit on, dude.
It's on fire.
Get with the times, get with the program. It is okay. Quit living in this denial. Quit living in this old fashioned. It's not old fashioned. The greatest coach in college football history, Nick Saban, said, "No, I'm done." Take that route if you want to. If you want to stick to your guns, take that route. Be done with it. But when you have Coach Nick Saban again, who quit. Who said, I don't want to do this, get on TV and said, you need to get with the times. Very ironic, but you need to get with the times. That's a problem. And he's watching from home on his couch like the rest of us.
And the thing is, too, great take all the way around. And you know what? It's look no further than 2 of the top teams in the SEC in Tennessee and Oklahoma. Getting in the transfer portal, getting their quarterbacks. Oklahoma with John Mateer, Tennessee with Joey Aguilar, like being active in the portal. And you made the point about Saban, Arthur, and it's that was kind of segues me perfectly into what I was going to say. Is that Nick Saban's sensibility and his strengths as a head coach has always been what? Defense and running game. Well, as it so happened, the SEC in college football, that was how the sport ran. And so it played perfectly to Nick Saban's strengths. But around 2014, 15-ish, Nick Saban saw the rest of college football, and it's like, okay, based on rule changes, based on 7-on-7 camps, all of these things, it's transitioning to more of a quarterback-centric sport. Running game and defense still matters. You need quarterback play. So I'm going to go get Jalen Hurts and Tua and Mac Jones and, Bryce Young. Like, I'm going to be active in getting some of these top quarterbacks in the country to come to Alabama, invest in the passing game. And he adjusted the times. And as you said, he didn't want to adjust in IL, so he left. He wasn't going to hold Alabama hostage because he wasn't going to, be willing to adjust. I'm with you. It's either retire if you're Dabo Swinney or just get with the program, man, because you can't win in 2025 the same way as you won in 2018. The sport's changed. The world's changed. There's a new playoff. There's a new, conference realignment. All of it. Change with the times. Adjust. The smart people like a Nick Saban, they're still smart. Just once they can adjust, they'll be able to get it with a program quicker than most because they have that ability to do so. So I'm with both of you guys. I've been calling for Dabo Swinney for years. I've got friends who are Clemson fans who are pretty much their patience is worn thin, and so that they're out on the guy as well. Speaking of somebody who. Go ahead.
How'd you like his post-game press conference?
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Like the fact that he was trying to gaslight all the fans, being like,
insane.
It's unbelievable. I mean, this guy. He is so butthurt right now. It's not even funny.
It really is. It's bad.
And remember, guys, like part of why Saban, like a big reason why part of Saban retired wasn't even because transfer portal this and all. It's because it's like, dude, these guys are coming into my home as saying, I want this, I want that. And I'm not not used to that. This is Alabama. I want to play for a great coach. I want these things on the field. I'm not used to, hey, I want money. No, like that. I'm that ain't my speed. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is where I part ways. But wasn't because, again, transfer portal like Dabo Swinney. It's not because I want to be stubborn and keep playing homegrown guys. Nah, if money and all of that stuff wasn't involved, I'm sure Saban would still be coaching. Because that's easy. All I got to do is go to the transfer portal, see who fits this culture, and that's easy. But when we start talking about money and paying guys, and that's being the first thing on your mind, that's where I get turned off as a coach. And I'm the GOAT. Who the hell are you coming into my house, eating my wife's cooking, talking about I want this amount of money or I'm not coming here? Look at my jewelry sitting right there.
Pretty much.
Fair enough. And the thing that I'll say, too, that is really a massive indictment on Dabo, and then we'll move on to Mike Gundy, is that I think it was like 16 starters, if I'm not mistaken, that Clemson was bringing back. So the whole idea of Dabo sticking with the program and sticking with homegrown guys, you said, Arthur, and recruits, all of those guys are here. All of those guys have been here long-term in Clemson, and it's still not working. You're having the worst season you've had in Clemson in 2 decades, basically, since you've been there. So it's all backfiring, and I would not be shocked if he's moved on from after the season, especially as you said, Tim. The ACC is exactly a murderer's row, and you're 1-3, and the one victory is a game you had to come back on Troy. It's all bad. It's all bad. It's all bad in Oklahoma State too, because they just fired Mike Gundy after a long time with the program. He was there since 1999. So he was there a long time. It was a solid program for years. It kind of fell by the wayside the last few. I'll start with you on this one, Arthur. Shocked that they made this move. Do you think they should have made this move to fire Mike Gundy from Oklahoma State?
Should have been gone. Should have been gone. Hey, dude, we don't like mediocrity. Yes, you're the winningest coach in program history. Thank you. We don't give a damn. We do not care. Again, another guy who hasn't done anything of substance with his program in a very, very long time. After that, I want to say, I'll say the 2011 Big 12 title, Fiesta Bowl win, right? They haven't been the same. Right, they haven't been able to return to that level, and you have a lot of guys, Chubba Hubbard being included in that, coming out and saying, "Listen, politics. I don't know what's going on, don't know what it is, but it looks like it's politics right now in Oklahoma State." And the dude just hasn't made with the guy who said, "I'm a man." He looking like a little boy for the last 14 years. He's been getting dominated. He hasn't really been able to do anything. It's just very unfortunate because if you do look at some of the players that came out of there, they're very great players, right? They're very, very great players. But as a coach, again, culture, right? Team talent, your coaching staff, all of that falls on you, dog. And when the head honcho just doesn't look like he's showing up for work, then everybody's not going to show up for work. It starts with you, right? And you're going to be the guy who gets the blame, right? Look at Ryan Day last year for the Ohio State Buckeyes. He got the blame. DeBoer for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He's getting the blame. Dabo Swinney, Clemson Tigers. He's getting the blame. So yes, Mike Gundy, it's about time, but this was inevitable. This was inevitable. And the fact that you 1-2 starting the season, yeah, we're going to nix you, bro. Thank you for your services, but goodbye. But he should have been gone.
How do you feel about Tim?
You know, when I saw this news, I was shocked. And I actually have a completely different take because the man has been at Oklahoma State for 33 years on separate occasions. He was their quarterback from 86 to 89. He was a position coach from 90 to 95. Then he became the assistant head coach, OC, from 01 to 04, and then became the head coach from 05 all the way till today. My thing is, you're Oklahoma State. What are you expecting to win? Also, why not let the man go out with some dignity? You know, let him finish out the year, bring him in, say, listen, we're not going to renew your contract. We're going to let you go, but we'll ride it out to the end of the year. And then you can say, hey, I'm going to retire, or, hey, you know, we're going to part ways, whatever. Just to let the man go out with dignity, because that's his school. He bleeds OSU. You know, just to get fired like that? Listen, I get it. You know, we're all in a arms race basically to go out, get the best coach, get the best players. But at the end of the day, you're Oklahoma State. It's not like you're going to be necessarily competing. Also, not to mention, Mike Gundy was the Big 12 Coach of the Year in 2021 and 2023. So it's not like he's been a crap coach for the last decade and a half. You know, so that's where I'm just kind of sitting there going, I get it, but at the same time, come on, let the man walk with some dignity. Try to do a better version of what Kraft and Belichick did. Let the year go on and just say, okay, we're going to part our separate ways. Or if he really does want to retire, even better. See ya.
I was kind of thinking the same thing in that regard, only in the sense of it's kind of like we always see the mutually agreed to part ways. We always joke like that.
We all know that's crap, but
yeah, we know that the person was fired, but that mutually agreed to part ways is just the classier version of saying it.
Exactly.
And so I get what both of you guys are saying from Arthur's perspective. Yeah, he hasn't been certainly successful as it pertains to the national championship picture in 15 years or almost 15 years. As for Tim, it's like, okay, the guy has represented your program for 3 decades, essentially, or really more so the last 2+ decades. At least let him finish the season. I get that take from both of you guys. Okay, moving on to, we've got 2 massive games tonight, obviously. Alabama, Georgia, and Oregon, Penn State. I mean, it does not get better than this for us college football fans. I would argue, fellas, there is no individual under more pressure this Saturday than James Franklin, who is 4-20 in his career against top 10 teams. Going against Oregon. Tim, I'll ask you, is this an absolute must-win for the Penn State Nittany Lions?
Absolutely. I think James Franklin, and again, it's a tough thing, because let's say, God forbid, he loses tonight, he can still win the Big Ten, and then they're in, right? It's one of those situations. But one of the biggest knocks is he gets the players, he gets the talent. Penn State's in the top 10, top 5 every single year of the AP top 25. But then they never come through in the big game, the big moment, the whiteout, when everything is riding on this. And he like you said, he's 4-20. That's horrendous. I mean, there's no, if he coaches for the rest of his life, I don't know if he'll be able to make that up and get back to 500. So, unless you want to count playoffs, but that's a different story. Otherwise, the issue is, again, if Penn State is going to feel confident playing out the rest of the year, making it to the college football playoff, if the Penn State fans, if us, the voters, which we're not real voters, we have our votes, but the AP voters too, if we want to feel confident in Penn State being that team, Drew Aller being that guy, they absolutely need to go out and win this game against Dan Lanning's Oregon Ducks, because that is a game that you're home. It's not even like you're in Oregon. You're home. You have the home field advantage. Come on. Like, this needs to be a must-win game.
Not just home field advantage, one of the best home field advantages in college football. I mean, that place gets insane, especially these night game whiteouts. To your point, Tim, your thoughts on this, Arthur? Before you go, because you're wearing your Ohio State Buckeyes hat, and it kind of sparked this thought for me. They lose that. Let's just say they lose this game to Oregon. They play Ohio State at the Horseshoe. They lose that game, they're kind of in some trouble. Forget to win the Big Ten. That's gone. Just to get into the college football playoff at all, that's part of the reason I do feel like this is a must-win game. Do you feel the same way, Arthur?
See, listen, I wasn't going to put much on it because last season when these two teams played, Penn State only lost by 8. So it was a great game, right? And James Franklin also, he didn't really have the team last year to even beat them. But the fact they were in that game, it was. I see you shaking your head, Bryson. I remember last year, especially with how Oregon was just dominating all season. I thought this was going to be another blowout. I just thought, like, nah, I'm sorry. Drew Aller, he's cool. You know, this Penn State team cool. But the Oregon Ducks were just on fire against every single team last year. So I thought it was going to be a dominating win. It wasn't. Penn State showed heart. Hey, you guys only lost by 8. Great game to you. This is different because now you have Jim Knowles, and I'm still pissed about that. Oh, that makes me mad. But anyways, you have Jim Knowles. We saw what happened last year, that second time around between the Buckeyes and the Ducks. And it's so funny how damn near Ohio State has been able to be a plug to every single conversation we've had today. I love it. But anyways, but yeah, we saw what happened. Take away the wide receivers, take away the run game. Dylan Gabriel wasn't able to do anything. That defense showed up, and that offense showed up, able to start out fast, score points, zone reads and stuff like that. Jim Knowles is going to bring that same thing to Penn State. Now, granted, Penn State does not have the defense Ohio State does, but with the way they've been able to play their schedule this year, they've been dominant. Again, I get the whole, well, they're playing these small schools, they're doing these things. We did the same thing with Alabama. I get it. You can't be mad at who you play on your schedule. When it's time, when the schedule really matters, is when these matchups happen, right? And we see what these teams are really made of. So, yes, because of your 4-20 record in the big games, because of the 8-point loss last year, because of the fact you have a new defensive coordinator in Jim Knowles who just won a championship last year, and we're going to see if he can do what he did last year in that second go around with the Oregon Ducks, with the Penn State and Nittany Lions. So, yes, this is a must-win game, again, because you got to play my guys later on this season. And if you lose to my guys and you lose tonight, you said it. Big Ten championship gone. College football playoff hopes, maybe. So these games, right? These ranked games. This is where you look. You say, you know what? I got to get win number 5. I got to start somewhere. I got to get win number 5 because Oregon. This has been Oregon for the longest time. Backyard football, play fast. We're going to run around. We're going to have the cute colors in our jerseys and all of this. And we're going to have all this flash, yada, 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 all of this beautiful stuff. That's who they've been for the longest. James Franklin, we're going to play great defense. Don't make no mistakes on offense. We're going to win this game being physical. We're not going to let them go to play flashy. We're not going to let them go ahead and do this. We're going to make them have to play our game, right? And if you make the Oregon Ducks, if you get them out of that backyard football feel, you have to play tough nose, you have to play gritty, they might shrink. So that's where you got to, if you're James Franklin and his squad, you're going to have to take advantage of that. So again, at the beginning of this, I want to put too much on it, but because of his history, yeah, you're going to have to put a lot on it.
I'm just going to say this too. One other thing is, when last year was the first iteration of the 12-team college football, playoff. Do you guys know how many teams with 2 or more losses made the tournament?
6.
7 2-loss teams, 1 3-loss team. And that 3-loss team was Clemson. So, again, this is a big game. I think just for Penn State's sanity, they need this game, and James Franklin it's not going to take the monkey off his back, but it's going to make him feel a little bit more confident going into the next game. But again, there is a precedent for a lot of multiple loss teams to get into the college football playoff.
That's fair. And a lot of that is based on what your resume is. And that's kind of my point is if the 2 best opponents on your schedule you lost to, and again, we're not assuming they lose to Ohio State necessarily. Again, that game's in the horseshoe. We'll see what happens on November 1st. But if you lose to the best teams you play, it's like, okay, are you quite to that level that we thought you were coming into the season? Mm-hmm. And even, listen, I am adamant at this. I do not believe in asterisk in sports unless you're talking about like the 2017 Houston Astros, where it's like, okay, they literally cheated their way to a title. That's different. Everybody gets breaks. It's just a matter of whether you can take advantage of said breaks. With that being said, look back at Penn State last year. It's like, okay, got to the Big Ten title game, competed with Oregon to their credit, but Oregon was the better team that Saturday night. The 2 playoff opponents before they got to Notre Dame, SMU, Boise State. 2 completely overmatched teams that had no business, competing with Penn State, and they were able to get the job done. And then they kind of performed under par, at least offensively speaking, against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So we haven't really seen Penn State win a quote unquote big game where it's equal level competition in quite some time. So that's why I do think to a degree this is a must win. All right, Arthur, it's your time. It is now time for Buckeyes Breakfast with Arthur Hurst. Arthur, buddy, take it away.
What's going on, audience? It is a lovely Saturday. It is a lovely weekend. And I said it earlier, this is not a game to sleep on between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Washington Huskies. The Washington Huskies are 3-0. Right now, they're averaging almost 500 yards per game. They're playing very, very well. Julian Sayin, he's going to be the X factor, right, as he's been all season long. This is a true freshman quarterback, a guy who's young. He's a great pocket passer, right? The offensive line is going to have to really bring their A game in this one. There's been a lot of pressure got into Sayin. He's been rushing some throws. He's been missing some wide open guys. He's been doing a lot of overthinking. And then again, the offensive line, this is where you're going to have to help your young quarterback out. This is also where Julian Sayin is going to have to help himself out. Just trust the first read, right? A lot of these times he's overthinking, overanalyzing. Nah, bro, your first read is there. Get it to your first read. And that's what they've done. The Buckeyes have done a lot this season, and Ryan Day has really been able to get him to just, hey, hit your first read. All right, Jeremiah Smith, open slam, boom. Right, Jeremiah Smith, open curl, boom, hit him quick. And you've seen how ever since that Texas Longhorns game where Jeremiah Smith looked frustrated, he was having a lot of guys just looking at him on that defensive end. Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith have been working on these last few weeks, being able to get in sync with one another, being able to get incorporated with one another, because everybody knows, they both know. Everybody knows that when as the season prolongs and these really big games come up, you're going to need number 4, who is arguably the best player in the country. I'm going to say he is, but a lot of people have their opinions on who that is right now. But yes, the quarterback play is going to be huge for the Ohio State Buckeyes to be able to win this game. Same way it is for the Washington Huskies. The Washington running back room also is going to be huge. The Buckeyes have been doing a great job not letting a rushing touchdown all season long. The Washington Huskies running back room is going to do everything they can to change that. They're very physical. They're not even power backs. They're just really good running backs who are physical, strong, shifty, fast. The Buckeyes haven't really seen anything all that. Buckeyes defense hasn't seen anything like that all year, except for possibly Texas. But even in that Texas game, the Buckeyes still what they needed to do on 4th downs, coming up big goal line stands. They've been doing that since last year. So Again, this game is nothing to sleep on. I'm going to be tuned in 3:30 Eastern. I'm expecting the Ohio State Buckeyes to come out and win this one. But again, it isn't going to be a sleeper. This is going to be tough. It's going to be hard-nosed. The trenches are really going to be a huge one in this one for both teams, right? Again, the offensive line. Are you going to be able to protect Julian Sagan against this Washington Huskies defense? The Ohio State defensive line. Are you going to be able to stop that Washington Huskies running back room who's been dominant all season? Are you going to be able to stop Washington Huskies quarterback who's been dominant all season? Hell, even their wide receiver core is very, very good, right? But I believe in this Ohio State defense. I believe in this Ohio State secondary to be able to get the job done. I'm hyped for this game. I really am hyped for this game. Same way I am for Alabama, Georgia, which is the other big game of this weekend. But I am an Ohio State Buckeye fan. I'm a rep the Ohio State Buckeyes at 614 OH. Yo. That was Buckeyes Breakfast with me, Arthur Hurst. We're going to go to our break and we'll be right back.
All right, welcome to the Saturday Morning Tailgate podcast. Appreciate y'all stopping by on the Saturday morning kickoff your college football Saturday. Great stuff on Buckeyes Breakfast once again, Arthur. Before we get into top 25, a little bit impromptu because I forgot to get to this in the opening segment, so I figured we would do it after the break. There was some discussions. We all, as some of you out there might know, us here at the Saturday Morning Tailgate, myself, Tim, and Arthur have a group chat. So we're out here talking smack about our teams and talking about college football all week long, especially, of course, on Saturdays all throughout. And there was a pretty controversial call last night in double OT between the Florida State Seminoles and the Virginia Cavaliers. Tim, you want to go and pull this up here and get us started? I think you're muted, Tim.
There he is. Yeah, so if you were watching the Florida State game last night, obviously Florida State is down 8 points after Virginia is able to go in the second overtime, score the touchdown, get the 2-point conversion. Even that was controversial. But then Florida State hits a play where the receiver ran a great route and split the defenders, but the catch in the back of the end zone, he was bobbling the ball. And again, one of the things ever since the mid-2010s has been, we don't know what a catch is. We don't know what a catch is. When watching this replay, this to me is not a catch. I mean, just look at this, and I've zoomed in, slowed down, so I'll show you guys here. If you look, so of course, the ball's up in the air. He catches it with the fingertips. So you could argue he's got possession, but as he's going, you're going to see the ball move right there. Watch how the ball is moving in his fingertips, and then he's able to regain possession right about there, and he's clearly out of bounds at this point. So, I mean, to me, that's clearly an incomplete pass. Like, he never got possession. He ran out of bounds. Arthur, you and I were going back and forth about this last night. Come on. Why? How is that not a catch? Or how is that a catch? Excuse me.
He had to take his headset off. He was so irritated.
He's so mad.
Dude, it's not even mad. It's just, dog, listen. I'm old school. Bruh. I'm used to the rules of, hey, you got 1 foot down, you got ball, cool. I get the whole, he needs to have full possession, he needs this, he needs that. Dude, that's a top 10 play on SportsCenter this morning if that touchdown is confirmed. and it's worth a touchdown. I'm just saying, hey, he bobbles it. He this, that, and third. Dude, listen, I get it. He didn't have full control going out of bounds, this, that, and the third. But dog,
that's not a catch.
There we go. That's not a catch.
Hold on. No. Let me finish. That left foot was down. Ball is in. Dude, I'm sorry, bro. That's a touchdown. Look at this. Hold on.
You need to maintain possession throughout.
Right there. Boom. Touchdown, dog. I'm sorry. Hold on. Look at the right foot. Even look at the freaking right foot. Look at the fucking right foot. Bro, come.
And there's the ball moving right there.
He bobbles it at the end. Yeah.
Possession right there.
Dude.
That's how you lose it. That's again.
Bro, he's going out of bounds. And the defender came over it. Oh my God. They changed
the rule in the Super Bowl against the Patriots and Eagles the second time around just to make Corey Clement's touchdown stand. Corey Clement bobbled that and it went out of bounds. But they ruled it a touchdown. This is the same exact thing, except this time they got the call right. He's bobbling it. What are you talking about?
Dude, he started bobbling it after he got 2 feet.
You have to complete it all the way.
Maintain the catch through the end.
Dumb as hell. I'm sorry. It's so freaking stupid.
If he kept the ball in his fingertips as he ran out of bounds, then yes. If he didn't try to adjust it, then yes, I'd agree with you. But he did. He adjusted.
How did he try to adjust it? The defender came in and put
the ball bobbled out of his hands.
Yes, you see the ball move. Did you not listen? Even last night, the ACC went to the camera or to the replay crew. You could hear them talk.
Yeah, they showed that, which I thought was pretty cool on ESPN's part. Yeah.
Yeah, every single one of them in ACC agreed that it was a bobble.
And it's stupid. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's
what I'm saying. Okay, let's just say hypothetically, Arthur, what would not have been a catch there in your book? What would he have had to do for you to say, that's not a catch?
If he just straight up dropped it.
Bro, it has to be a straight up drop. You can bobble it and be a catch?
Oh my God.
Bro, if he just straight up just dropped it, then I would understand. But dude, you're talking about, bro, I've already got 2 feet down in this thing. I've got this thing on my freaking fingertips. The defender comes over to make a play on it. Kudos to him for staying in the play. But dog, this stuff is over. If this was the NFL, I already still have 2 feet down. That's a touchdown. I'm sorry. This whole bobbling stuff, dog, I have it in my hands. You talking about I have to have full possession of.
So does me holding my phone like this mean I have possession of it? Like, just barely?
Drop it. Hey, he doesn't have possession. He doesn't have possession anymore, Bryson. You see that? But dude, you're talking about this. I have it on my fingertips. That's a highlight play. That's number 1 on Sports Center. I saved the game. We're going to keep playing. Are you freaking kidding me? Again, I get it if he just straight up just like, like what Marvin Harrison did on Thursday, I would completely understand if something like that happened. But it didn't. My boy got the 1 foot down. He even got the right foot down. And we started talking about it's a football play. Yeah. Hang on. And then here's this, Bryson. Here's what also makes me mad. This guy, Tim, brings up the Jesse James catch last night. Dog. Yeah.
Correct.
Jesse James needs dead. That's the funny thing about that damn play. It could have been saved if a no catch. If they just said, no, his knee was down, but we're still worrying about the football. We're still worrying. Oh,
yes,
that's a little different than what happened.
Des Bryant. Hold on.
Des Bryant's back, yeah.
No, the elbow. I thought when the body parts, the elbow, the knee, whatever, touches the field, the play is dead. His elbow hit the ground, Bryson. The ball popped out after the play should have been ruled dead. So why the hell is it? Whatever. Hey, listen. The most important thing about that catch, he should have caught it. Okay, he should have caught the initial throw because it was a beautiful dime. He should have caught it. Now, I understand if you think that you're about to get blindsided, sent to the hospital because this dude's coming in hot. You're worried about this guy behind you. I get all those things. Game, all of this in his head. But, dude, that should have been a clean catch. We're celebrating. Cool. Touchdown. All right, let's see what y'all do. But, no, instead, we're on this Saturday morning at 10:45 arguing over if this should have been a top 10 play on SportsCenter or not.
Fair enough. I hear both y'all's take. That was. I'm not gonna lie. That was entertaining podcast television for the last 5 minutes or so. All right, back to our regular scheduled program. That was great, guys. Let's get to our top 25. Tim, I'm gonna start with yours. Your top 25. Here you go. What do you got?
All right, so of course I got Ohio State number 1. Miami's beat down of Florida. I've been really, I hate to admit it, I've been really impressed with what Miami's done. And yes, I did. You could argue punish Penn State for being on a bye, but it is what it is. Oregon really hasn't beaten many top-tier competition, so I'm just keeping them at 3. Georgia, again, they were also on a bye, but Oklahoma, I really like. It's going to be interesting to see how John Mateer is able to come back from his injury. As for LSU and then Florida State, that's going to change real quick. But then Texas, I was really disappointed in Texas. Yeah, they kicked Sam Houston State's ass on last Saturday. But again, you're Arch Manning. You're standing over a player at Sam Houston State. Get out of here. That's something we should have talked about to start the show. Friggin' what an a-hole. It's Sam Houston State, Arch. What are you doing? And then, of course, Indiana number 10. As for the 11 through 20, of course, I still like Tennessee.
Yeah, you do.
Easy there, kid. I still think Tennessee was the better team again, than Georgia in terms of talent. But again, Georgia came out and they did their thing. So I got Tennessee at 11. A&M, Tech has looked pretty good as of late. Vanderbilt, I'm loving what Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia are doing. Iowa State had a bye week last week, so now they're caught up with everybody. That week 0 game doesn't matter anymore. And Ole Miss, Georgia Tech, Alabama, Michigan 19, and Missouri at 20 rounds it out for me in the middle of my top 25. And then as for the final 5, I got USC at 21, Illinois after that just absolute disgrace of a game. I had Illinois, I think, in my top 10 last week, and then they just got absolutely trounced by Indiana, so they fell all the way to 22. Maryland, I got at 23. Washington, I've been very impressed with, and I'm actually looking forward to this game against Ohio State later today. And then to round it off, I still have Notre Dame in my top 25 because I'll be honest, they got screwed, and I do believe that they are a top 25 team. So that's my top 25.
That's fair. What about you, Arthur? What do you got?
I understand people dropping LSU. I understand people moving Miami up. I've said it all season. You can't get mad because they're playing their schedule. Ohio State, Penn State, and LSU are still in my top 3. Penn State has a very great game tonight against the Oregon Ducks. So we'll see if they stay number 2. But for right now, these are my top 3 teams. Miami, they've played exceptional. I'm proud of how they've been able to rise to the occasion. Carson Beck has been playing very well, right? Georgia, listen, man. Georgia's been a huge question mark for me all season. The things that they've allowed to happen, especially defensively, I did not see coming, right? We talk about that Tennessee game. I still don't know how your Bulls lost that, Bryson, but they did. But yeah, the Bulldogs just don't look the same this season. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're tired. I don't know if they're just not able to just rise to the occasion. I don't know what's going on with the Bulldogs. But they have a very good game against Alabama tonight. I believe they're going to beat the hell out of Bama, honestly. We'll see if it happens, though. Oregon, again, a great team. They've played their schedule. Can't be mad at them. They play Penn State tonight. Let's see if they're able to go on the road in that whiteout, one of the best traditions in college football, and get the W. Florida State, tough loss last night. Ooh, that was tough. Record-breaking storm. They were on the field ready to go. I've never seen nothing like that. The minute dude got that interception, they were on the field. That was wild. So we'll see if they're able to bounce back, though. Oklahoma, Texas, look, Arch Manning, he's the nephew. He's not the son. Okay? Remember that. He is the nephew of Eli and Peyton Manning. He is not the son. Let him grow. Let them develop. That's the beautiful thing that I love seeing about these young quarterbacks struggle, is that development is coming back into conversations. Deion Sanders said it. I was just sitting on the bench just saying, you know what? I really learned something today, right? Because even he knows that the NFL doesn't develop players like they should. So let Arch Manning develop in his time at Texas, please. And thank you. Texas A&M, they've been playing very good all season. I got them routing out my number 10. Indiana, I love the Big Ten. I love the Big Ten representation right now in these top 25. Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and IU. IU's really come back into the fold, haven't they? Last year, I was wondering if it was going to be a fluke. It wasn't. It wasn't. Right now, they're going into their second year, again, playing exceptional. And I've got them at number 11. Ole Miss, I got them at 12, playing good. Texas Tech, listen, man, I didn't expect Texas Tech to come out and do what they've done this season, but they have. They showed up. They showed out. Iowa State, Georgia Tech, same thing with Georgia Tech. Very good football team. I love the city of Atlanta. I love it, okay? But still, Georgia Tech, hey, they've been a surprise for me. The Tennessee Volunteers, I thought they were going to get a great win. I really, really thought they were going to do it, man. 14-14. You playing out of this world, Joey Aguilar, and then you just shit the bed. I'm sorry. I don't like to
watch it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Buddy, you look like me out there. What are you doing? You missing throws. You throwing behind people. You throwing over people. Man, that. Again, it was a tough one, Bryson. It was a tough one to watch. It was a very, very tough one to watch. But they're still in the top 25. Alabama, the Crimson Tide. Is the Lord going to be able to get back today? Are we going to be able to show everybody why we've been the Crimson Tide? Maybe. I mean, Nick Saban isn't coaching there anymore, so we'll see. Vanderbilt. My guy, Diego Pavia. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Say it with me. Say it with me, Bryson. Go Commodores. Go Commodores. Shout out to Jordan White also. Offensive lineman of the SEC 2 weeks ago. He's been playing exceptional, being a great protector on that offensive line. Again, shout out to Jordan White. Shout out to Diego Pavia. Shout out to the Vanderbilt Commodores for doing what they've done this season. Michigan, my rival. They're not my rival right now. I'm going to support them because I'm a Big Ten lover. But when it comes to that last week in the football, fuck them. I don't give a damn about Wolverines. I don't care about my auntie who's a Wolverine fan. She can go ahead and – no, I won't say that. But you know what I'm saying, okay? But they're still in the top 20. I believe Bryce Underwood, again, another guy who's going to develop, another guy who's going to see big games throughout his college football career, a guy who's going to be able to grow, mature in his game as the starting quarterback of the Wolverines, as the leader of the Wolverines, as the guy who's going to be an X factor a whole lot of times for the Michigan Wolverines. Number 3, Tigers. Proud of them of what they've been able to do this season. And then to round out my 25, I have Notre Dame. Disappointing. I don't like what I'm seeing from the Fighting Irish. I really don't. I really thought after, what happened last season, them going all the way to the college football championship to lose to my Ohio State Buckeyes, they were going to come out on fire this season. They have not, and it's disappointing me. USC coming back into the mix, the TCU Horned Frogs, BYU, they play against the Colorado Buffaloes. They whooped butt last year when they played. They're not a team to sleep on. I get it. Oh, BYU, white boys, this, that, and the third, Jimmy Fredette, yada, yada, yada. Hey, them white boys can play. All right, the white boys can play. And then to round it out, we got the Illinois Fighting Illini. Like I said, man, the Big Ten is representing in this top 25, and I love to see it.
That's fair. I didn't appreciate your shots at Joey Aguilar.
The white boys can play.
Yeah, they listen. I know
no,
it's a shocker.
the Mormons can play.
Jeez. Well, I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, listen, Steve Young, right? All-time great BYU player and all-time great quarterback. No question about it. All right, here's my top 25 going. So look at the top 10. Obviously, Arthur's Ohio State Buckeyes are number 1. Big-time road test for them against Washington, but they've taken care of business. Obviously, that season-opening win against Texas was impressive. Keeping Penn State at 2. Massive game against Oregon. We'll see what they do. I've got Miami at number 3. I think their defense has been utterly phenomenal. Mario Cristobal's done a great job there. And last week, notwithstanding, I got to admit, I've been kind of impressed with Carson Beck. Again, he had a bad interception last week. He's a little erratic. as a quarterback, but generally I've seen more consistency out of him this year than I saw last year with him at Georgia, so I give him credit there. Listen, I've got Georgia 4 because, to Arthur's point, their defense does have concerns, but at the end of the day, the question for Georgia was offense. The question for Georgia was big plays, and frankly, they were able to generate a lot of those against Tennessee. I was very impressed. It's the first kind of big game in terms of downfield passing that I've seen from Gunnar Stockton. That was a big time, go on the road in Knoxville, in Neyland Stadium, the deep ball for the touchdown and fourth down, to keep Georgia alive. Kudos to the Bulldogs. Heartbreaking loss for my Vols. LSU, number 5. I dropped them slightly. I haven't been terribly impressed with their offense, given the talent they have, particularly with Garrett Nussmeier at quarterback, obviously replacing some of their starters in the offensive line, but I need to see a little bit more from LSU. Big game for them against the Ole Miss Rebels today. Oregon at number 6, again, that big game against Penn State. That's kind of their first test, and boy, is it a test. Going on the road, whiteout, Penn State, Happy Valley, primetime night game. It's going to be insane. Yeah, Florida State, number 7. I think we're all like, they're going to drop pretty significantly on next week's top 25. That goes without saying. Great offense. Tommy Castellanos, Squirrel White, shout out to him, former volunteer. He was the one in the end zone who got almost trampled by those Virginia fans in what was, again, an incredible field rush, as the gentleman before me just said. Oklahoma at 8. Listen, their defenses look great. The big question is John Mateer, right? He's got a hand injury. We'll see how long that he's out. Hopefully, for their sake, they can stay in the SEC championship race. I think they've got a team that could potentially win multiple college football playoff games. I really, really do. But very impressed with what I'm seeing from Oklahoma on both sides of the ball. Texas at 9. Tim, a fair point on Arch Manning flexing on a Sam Houston guy who's probably going to be working insurance in 2 years. Listen, if it builds the kid's confidence and maybe Arch Manning is back and torches your Florida Gators next week, who knows? But Texas is at 9. Great defense, and maybe their offense has found somewhat of a rhythm in their last 3 games against a pretty weak competition. Texas A&M at 10. Again, that big win against Notre Dame a couple weeks back. I like their quarterback a lot, dual threat guy. So the Aggies are at number 10. In at the top, the next 10, Iowa State, Rocco Beck has done a great job. I think they're still, along with Arizona State, the clear-cut favorites to potentially come out and win the Big 12 title. I've hated on Indiana the last couple of years. I can't do it anymore. What they did to Illinois last week, 63-10. Are you kidding me? Just absolute domination, start to finish. Great quarterback play. Listen, got to give credit where it's due. The good program there over the last couple of years. My Vols are at lucky number 13. Listen, obviously I've loved what I've seen from Joey Aguilar. The man is completing over 60% of his throws in terms of downfield passing yards, or downfield passes, 20 or more yards down the field.
Half against Georgia.
He did a couple of times, Arthur. He did a couple of times from time to time. Okay, he had a rough stretch, mid-second quarter, mid-third quarter, but he got it going. It's not his fault that the kicker blew it at the end after a false start. I'm still not over it, guys. I'm still not over it. Alabama's number 14. Listen, obviously, it's a tough loss to Florida State, but they've taken care of business against who they need to take care of business with. Beat Wisconsin last week, obviously. Again, the question for them is, can they go on the road, get that signature win against Georgia? Kalen DeBoer doesn't really have that big sort of stamp on college football win with the Alabama Crimson Tide that he's looking for. I've got Alabama at 14. We'll see if they can do that tonight in between the hedges against the Dogs. Texas Tech, dominant win last week against Utah. Very, very impressed with what I saw from their offense. Ole Miss 16. They run the football effectively. Cannot wait to watch their game against LSU today. Georgia Tech at 17. Again, good run game, good defense, all-around great team, or well-rounded team, rather. The win against Clemson really kind of helped doom Clemson's season, and now they're in the top 25 are the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Yeah, Vanderbilt's at 18. Whatever. Diego Pavia, good stuff. I'm not going to go any further than that. Cannot wait for November 30th. That's all I got to say. You wait till they run into the mighty orange, big orange of the Tennessee Volunteers at Neyland Stadium. I digress. Michigan at number 19. Bryce Underwood with a solid game against Nebraska last week. I actually picked Nebraska to win that game, so kudos to Michigan for getting the job done offensively, being able to put up 30 points on the Cornhuskers. Missouri's run the football effectively. Injuries at quarterback, the fact that they've been able to still play good football despite that is a credit to them. And then rounding out my top 25, I've got Notre Dame at 21. Again, their 2 losses this year are to 2 excellent teams in Miami and Texas A&M. They're going to have to go perfect the rest of the season. Really sneaky, interesting game for them against Arkansas, who's been on the doorstep of 2 really impressive wins against Ole Miss and Memphis. We'll see what happens with them. USC at 22. I like Mayaba. Jaden Mayaba, really talented young quarterback, potentially in the Heisman race. It feels like that's a conversation every half decade with USC quarterbacks. We'll see how he continues to progress. I do have some questions about USC's defense, but they run the football effectively, and Mayaba is a good quarterback. Illinois, listen, I still believe I still believe in their quarterback play with Luke Altmaier, but just an absolutely embarrassing loss against the Indiana Hoosiers last week. USC Illinois is going to be a really fun game kicking off in about an hour from now. Memphis at 24. Look, the win against Arkansas last week to come back to the way they did. Memphis was my pick before the season to be that 12 seed in the college football playoff, so I like what I've seen from the Tigers. And Mississippi State 25. I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit nervous. I'll talk about that in just a second here on the Vol View, but very nervous for my Vols taking on the Bulldogs in Starkville. Really like what I've seen. 4-0. That win against Arizona State's looking better by the day, especially after what Arizona State did last night against TCU, coming back to win that game. I had Arizona State just on the outside looking in, so that's what my top 25 looks like. All right. It is now time for the Vol View, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to take it away here before we get a break. So listen, Tennessee's got a big game on the road. It feels like that's kind of the theme of the show, right? Florida had their first real road test of the season last week against Miami. Wasn't able to get the job done. Sorry, Tim. Arthur, your Ohio State Buckeyes, big-time matchup against Washington on the road. We'll see what they do in that spot. Tennessee, same situation. On the road in Starkville against Mississippi State, a situation where, okay, if the Vols can go on the road in the cowbell atmosphere in a game that, like I said, fun story. You know, I'm sure I, like the gentleman on this show and like everybody watching right now, plays college football 26. Love the game. And I played it obsessively, especially before the year started, to kind of get a feel for what the sport was going to look like this season. And of course, I played a lot with my Tennessee Volunteers. And for whatever reason, the one game that kept giving me issues over and over and over, Mississippi State Bulldogs. In some simulations, I lost. In some games, I had to win on a walk-off touchdown, walk-off field goal. That's a good defense, good offense. They play well at home. And there's it feels like it's kind of a culture change. The fact that they were able to beat Arizona State a couple of weeks ago, Arizona State, Big 12 champions, to go into the college football playoff last year. I think they're going to make it this year. The fact Mississippi State beat them, outplayed them, won on a walk-off touchdown is a credit to their program as a whole. Listen, Tennessee was with a good win. I was there last week against UAB. Joey Aguilar did his thing, deep balls to Chris Brazzell and to Mike Matthews and all of these guys spreading all over the yard. Nice pitch play to Deshaun Bishop for a touchdown. Offensive line really established the line of scrimmage, did what they were supposed to do. I will say a devastating, if you took Tennessee minus 38.5, a devastating backdoor cover by the UAB Blazers there at the end with under a minute to go in Tennessee. Josh Heupel tried to cover there at the end, but a drop touchdown, alas, by tight end. They weren't able to get the job done in that regard. I got to admit, I still have questions about Tennessee's defense. Tim Banks is one of the better defensive coordinators in the country. You've got Joseph, the pass rusher. They were able to get Ricky Gibson III and Jermon McCoy back from injury. They're going to have to really step up in this matchup on the road in Starkville. So I want to see a little bit more from the secondary. I want to see more from the pass rush. Linebacking core is good with Arian Carter and Talander. So that unit's fine. I want to see more from the pass rush. I want to see more from the secondary. I think one could be able to complement the other. I want to see Tennessee run the football effectively. Again, opportunity to go on the road, get a big SEC win. It will be the first of the year. It's going to be a whiteout in Mississippi State. So Tennessee's going to be going in their all-orange uniform. So a little bit of a different atmosphere that they're going to be going into. I got the Vols getting the W today. Very, very excited. That is it for this week's edition of the Vol View. We will be back in just 1 minute here on the Saturday Morning Tailgate with the Cover Crew and a segment I'm very excited for. Tim's Florida Gators, Gator City. I am very interested to hear what he has to say. Coming back in just 1 minute here on the Saturday Morning Tailgate. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to the Saturday Morning Tailgate podcast to kick off your college football game day. Very, very excited to be here. Hopefully, you guys are as well. Let's go and get into our Cover Crew. Listen, we've got some big games all around college football today. I will start with you, Tim. What do you like for your Cover Crew game? We're trying to win money for the audience here. What are you going to take in this spot? Your mic is muted, Tim.
I keep doing
0
that.
for 2. 0 for 2.
0 for 2. Jeez. What's wrong with me? I liked Notre Dame in this game today, minus 4.5. Again, like Arthur, you mentioned, they were all the way in the national championship last game. They were supposed to come out like gangbusters, you would think, after getting their ass kicked in the national championship game. A couple of plays or a couple of calls go their way. This is a 3-0 team right now. So I do like Notre Dame in this game, especially at minus 4.5. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a close game. Arkansas, they're a rowdy bunch down there, but at the end of the day, Notre Dame, I think, is going to pull away because they really need this one. This is a must-win game for them to even have a possibility of sniffing at a college football playoff berth. I mean, a lot of people are writing them off right now, but as I mentioned, 7 2-loss teams made it to the college football playoff. And I know everyone wants to talk about, and they're not in the conference, and that helps teams, which it does. Not going to deny that. But why would you share your TV revenue that you get just by the brand itself with a ton of other schools? You're not going to. It's dumb. It's bad business. So regardless, I do like Notre Dame over Arkansas today at minus 4.5. They're going to win at least by 7.
Fair enough. What about you, Arthur?
I like BYU over Colorado. And to be honest, fellas, it's not going to be close. I hate saying that because I love Deion Sanders. I'm going to continue supporting Deion Sanders. But if the Cougars can do what they did to Shedeur Sanders last year, what in the world do we think they're going to do this year to this quarterback room? Dude, they don't even have a quarterback room right now. They don't even know who they want their quarterback to be. So, yeah, man, BYU, the Mormons, right? Not even white boys, the Mormons. They've been playing great football. The Buffaloes, again, they don't know who they want their quarterback to be. At one point, it's going to be Kaden Salter, and then it's going to be Ryan Staub, and Julian Lewis has been in a few times this season. It's like, dude, what are we doing? What are we doing? We look like we don't know what we want this season from the Colorado Buffaloes. So, I got the BYU Cougars over the Colorado Buffaloes, but it's not going to be close. It isn't, and it sucks to say that.
Listen, I'm going to try and hopefully cap off a 3-0 week from our audience. Again, we're trying to win money for everybody out there. I think my cover crew pick is going to absolutely stun you guys. I'm going to take a little bit of page out of Arthur's book and take a big favorite over a lesser opponent. And I'm going to take the Vanderbilt Commodores. Yes, minus 23.5. I'm taking you guys today.
Oh, my goodness.
23.5.
Bells.
Listen, Diego Pavia is going to do his thing. Yeah, he's got some, it looks like some off-field activity going. Kudos to him. But, listen, a well-coached bunch at Vanderbilt. Do I think they're going to beat my Tennessee Volunteers in Week 14? Hell no. No chance about it. But 23.5, I like this. Utah State's a solid squad out of the Mountain West Conference, but I got Vanderbilt minus 23.5 winning this game. So that's our cover crew. Hopefully we can win you guys some money out there. I've been looking forward to this all week, and really for the last 2 weeks. It is now time for Gator City, hosted by Tim Barner. Timmy, go and take it away, bud.
Oh, can you see me? I gotta what? Oh, there we go. All right, hold on. Sheesh, gotta adjust the camera. All right. Could be better. All right, so in all kinds of weather, we stick together. That's been the motto. I think the motto I'm going to be sticking with all freaking year, because this is going to just be a nightmare. I mean, the loss to Miami was not unexpected. I think we all knew that. And DJ Lagway just doesn't look the same. And a lot of people, myself included, have noted the fact that he's been hurt all offseason. He hasn't played in the spring. He didn't play in the orange and blue game. He hadn't practiced basically all summer until the final couple weeks before the season kicked off. And we all thought, hey, he's going against Long Island University. He's going to be pulled at half. He's going to get his reps in there, and everything's going to turn out fine. And it looked that way except for the fact that he only threw for about 150 yards against Long Island University in one half. That seemed a little off, but not something we were afraid of. But then you start watching them in the 5 picks against LSU, the way they just couldn't move the ball against Miami. And listen, Miami played them tough. But the biggest issue is exactly what Mario Cristobal said before the game against Miami. This is the most talented team that they're going to play all season. This is one of the most talented Florida Gator teams I think we've ever seen. The problem is they suck. They're not playing up to it. You have DJ Lagway coming in at 250 friggin' pounds. The man, yes, he's built like, a brick crap house, like he's a jack dude. But he needs to be at 230 max. Like, what are we doing talking about a guy who, yes, he can run, he can move, but when you're that big, everything gets thrown off. Everything from your throwing mechanics to your running, to your speed, to your movements. And everything is looking like that. That's why we're 1-3. And it was interesting because you just had the Lane Kiffin documentary come out on ESPN, and Ryan McGee of Marty and McGee on SEC Network did a interview where he sat down with the boosters, an obligated booster dinner that was hosted by the AD. And he said that the boosters were basically done fundraising the amount of money it would have taken to fire Billy Napier after that horrendous loss to Miami and Texas A&M last year. And that quote from Ryan McGee, we'll have Lane Kiffin here by the end of October last season. And to which I say, I was one of the guys letting Billy, hey, come on, we're doing a little too much here. Let's calm down a little bit. We need to let him get his guys in, develop, play the season, all of that stuff. Now, bye, see ya. Just like a running back who fumbles, get out. You're done. There's no need for you anymore. It's really been absolutely disgusting. And again, as somebody who likes to discuss history, and especially when it comes to sports, it's one of those things that if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And what I mean by that is in 1986, can you guys see me here? Okay. Sorry, for the third time. In 1986, Florida was 13th in the AP poll preseason, just like we were this year. That year, under Galen Hall, we finished 6-5. We lost to Miami. We lost to Alabama. We lost to an unranked Kentucky team, and somehow we're able to rattle off at least 4 wins against Kent State, Rutgers, number 5 ranked Auburn, and number 19th ranked Georgia. But we were still 6-5. And did it get better for the Gators? No. So much so that Galen Hall was still employed for the next 2 years. So he was there for 5 years, got fired, and then we brought in Spurrier, and for the Gators, the rest is history. If we're going to succeed as a program, yeah, we're probably going to lose a lot of players, which is going to suck because we're a very talented team right now. But at the end of the day, Billy needs to go. The man who came in here as the man who came in here stating, scared money don't make money. Basically, his coaching style is scared money. He is so conservative, it's not even funny. He'll build the lead up until the halftime and then go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out when they're good. So with whatever's going on with Billy, I don't know. I'm done. It's like I said a couple weeks ago. It's going to take a lot for me to want to bring him back for another year. And to all the boosters out there, where's that money? You raised it once. Can we do it again? So all I can say is, in all kinds of weather, we stick together. Other than that, I don't know. It's going to be a long, long season. So for Gator City, I'm Tim Barnard, and we're going to take you to break one more time before we unveil our game day picks. So we'll see you back in just a minute.
Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Tailgate podcast. Want to apologize for some of the technical difficulties. Usually we have, or I try to have like a TV monitor to see what we're seeing. But yeah, Tim just was letting me know that there was basically a black screen, but basically on our feed we could see. So apologize for that. We'll have that fixed by next week. But good stuff still on Gator City, Tim. Yeah, it's. Again, as I said at the top of the show, I am a little surprised. I'm a little disappointed in you, sir, that you have not started the GoFundMe to buy out, to buy out Billy Napier's contract. I'm very surprised, especially with the contract extension. It's going to take everybody chipping in, Tim. Although, as a Tennessee fan, keep employing that play. He's doing a good job. Billy Napier's crushing it out there. He's absolutely crushing it.
Hey, we still beat you with Joe Milton with Billy Napier, so pump the brakes here, kid.
It's Joe Milton. Like, come on.
It is.
As someone I know called him.
That's your fault, not mine. That's your fault, not mine.
That's very, very true. That's very true. All right, let's get right into our picks, fellas. Let's get right into it. We are going to start with a big-time matchup here at noon between the USC Trojans and the Illinois Fighting Illini. Who you got in this game, Tim?
After that game last week? No friggin' brainer. Give me SC.
All right, Arthur, what about you?
I'm gonna go with Illinois. IU has been special, right, for the last year. They're turning it around. They're going back to Hoosiers, prime Hoosier football and being able to pack out that stadium and get their fans involved. I'm gonna have to go Illinois.
Okay, so Illinois in the spot. Listen, coming off of an utterly embarrassing loss against Indiana last week, 63-10. There's an element of, man, when it's a good team that gets completely humiliated, there's an element of, man, you go to Sunday morning, you're still down in the dumps, especially at Saturday night primetime game. What the heck just happened? And then by Sunday, you're like, man, I want to kick off in 1 hour. Give me Illinois in the spot. I do like USC. I do like Mayava, but obviously they've got more experience at quarterback, does Illinois at Luke Altmaier. So give me the Fighting Illini to win this football game. Okay, really interesting matchup here. Okay, you got Notre Dame and Arkansas, a spot where it's, okay, can Notre Dame put themselves in a position to where they can make the college football playoff by winning out? Arkansas with two down to the wire, close losses, by the way, in both games in which they fumbled away the game essentially against Ole Miss and against Memphis, blew a big lead against the Tigers last week. Tim, who you got in this spot?
As I said for my game day cover, I think Notre Dame's going to win this at least by a touchdown. Again, this is a game that they are in desperate need of, so give me the Fighting Irish.
All right, what about you, Arthur?
Give me the Fighting Irish as well. You're going to have to start somewhere. You're going to have to build up some confidence. Coach Freeman's a good coach, man. He's a leader of men. He knows how to get his team going. The guys on the field just have to do what they got to do and get the W, but I'm going to have to go with Notre Dame in this one.
I almost put Arkansas plus 4.5. I thought about that as my cover crew pick because I do think Arkansas is going to cover, but I'm going to take Notre Dame in a close game just because, listen, when you've got a team that has been in the margins right there close to being able to finish two wins, had Arkansas beaten Ole Miss and had they beaten, Memphis last week, they're 4-0 and they're ranked. Like, there's no question about it. So this is a better Arkansas team than what their record shows. I think it's going to be a dogfight for Notre Dame on the road against an SEC school. Give me the Fighting Irish. Fellas, who we got with Georgia Tech hosting hosting Wake Forest? Who you got, starting with you, Tim?
Oh, give me Georgia Tech. I mean, they are a sneaky good team. I have them in my top 25. So give me the Hornets.
What about you, Arthur?
I'm going to have to go Georgia Tech as well. I don't think Wake Forest stands a chance in this matchup.
Neither do I. It's clean sweep across the board. I've got Georgia Tech. Going on to our next matchup, what do we got here? I believe we have Indiana taking on Iowa on the road. Who you got in this game, Tim?
I've always been a big fan of Iowa. They always, a big team that builds from the trenches. But in this game, I had to go with Indiana. That absolute rout of Illinois, two top 25 schools in Indiana, Illinois, and they just absolutely annihilated them. I don't know if Iowa's going to be able to put up the offense needed. So give me the Hoosiers.
Offense has been a bit of a problem for Iowa back, for a long time now. What about you, Arthur?
I agree with Tim. A whole lot of respect for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They are such a great team. Not great, but they are a great matchup, right? They're tough. They're hard-nosed, like Tim said, trenches for sure. Great fan base, tight end in my opinion. But again, I believe the Hoosiers right now are earning their respect back, especially after what happened last year, and they're on to another dominant-looking season this year. So I'm going to have to go with the Indiana Hoosiers.
Another clean sweep, guys. I got Indiana. They've been playing great offensively. Quarterback play is an upgrade from what it was a year ago. Give me the Hoosiers. Okay, big spot here. We've got your Buckeyes, Arthur, taking on the Washington Huskies on the road in Washington. Long flight, obviously, for Ohio State, number one team in the country. Who do you got in this game, Tim? Oh, you're muted, I think, buddy.
Oh, jeez.
0 for 3.
Good God. 0 for 3. What is... All right, we're going to have to keep a tally for next week.
Yeah.
Over under 3 times.
Yep.
Give me the upset. Give me the Huskies, man.
Whoa.
They are a sneaky good team. I am very interested to see how this is going to be or how this is going to go. The fact that, again, Washington is home. No disrespect to the Buckeyes, but I think this is going to be one of the toughest matchups that they're going to see all season.
What's your retort, Arthur?
Fuck them. That's my retort. The Ohio State Buckeyes are going to win this game, man. Listen, I understand though. Again, Washington Huskies averaging almost 500 yards per game. The quarterback's playing extremely well. The running back room is playing well. Receivers as well. But dude, this defensive line hasn't led a rushing touchdown all season. Julian Sayin is going to do what he needs to do to come out here and ball with Jeremiah Smith. And even if Jeremiah Smith isn't the one that's going to have the big game, Carnell Tate is still a really good receiver. Brandon Ennis is still a really good receiver. And we haven't even talked about Bo Jackson, C.J. Donaldson, and James Peoples in the running back room and that Ohio State defense and what they're able to do. So, yes, the Buckeyes are the way.
Wait, Bo Jackson?
I'm about to say, I thought I heard Bo Jackson too there, Arthur. Either way, listen, if you get back prime Bo Jackson, ain't nobody beating Ohio State. I can tell you that much right now.
Oh, yeah, you got somebody named Bo Jackson in that running back room.
Fair enough. Same Bo Jackson, same guy, Arthur?
Hey, we'll see. We will see. He runs angry. He runs powerful.
Fair enough. That's close enough. Let's see if he's got that speed that the great Bo Jackson had. No, but I've also got the Ohio State Buckeyes in this game. Listen. Tim kind of tipped it off by putting Washington in the top 25. Now they did get votes to be in there, but wow, that's probably our most shocking pick thus far in the very brief history of the Saturday Morning Tailgate. Tim, you got to stand 10 toes down on this one.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I love going for the upset. So much fun. Why not?
Fair enough. Maybe we can see what we saw last night in Washington. Listen, Buckeyes breakfast will be very interesting with Arthur Hurst next week, should this come to pass. All right, my team, Tennessee Volunteers, going on the road to Starkville to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Like I said, I'm a bit nervous for this game. Should I be, Tim?
I don't think you should. At the end of the day,
Okay.
It's Mississippi State. It's, give me Tennessee. Again, the only thing that you need to be concerned with is losing losing your ears, for the rest of the day, having to deal with those friggin' cowbells. But other than that, I mean, listen, you're good enough to walk in there and win by double digits easily. So, again, give me Tennessee.
Nothing against Mississippi State fans, but Dak Prescott is about the only thing I like about Mississippi State. That is I hate the Cowbells. What about you, Arthur?
Fox.
I'm gonna have to go with the Tennessee Volunteers as well. Even though it wouldn't surprise me if y'all lost because Joey Aguilar decided to come back down to earth after starting 14-14. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm not gonna let that up all season. That was. You don't understand how mad
this man could win the Heisman Trophy, and he will hold on to this Week 3 game loss against Georgia.
I will gladly. And watch in the playoff if it happens again. Ooh, Bryson, I'm coming for your head, dog. I'm in for your head, bro.
That will not be good for the show if that happens. Yeah, clean sweep. The Vols win this one. I will say I'm not crazy about Tennessee minus 7.5. Again, I'm telling you, Mississippi State's better than people give them credit for. They got votes to be in the top 25. I had them at number 25. Yeah, clean sweep. We've got the Vols winning this football game. Big matchup featuring if I can pull this up here, the Auburn Tigers and the Texas A&M Aggies, which is a big one from College Station. Good SEC matchup here. Who do you got, Tim?
Yeah, this is, I think, going to go one of two ways. I feel like either A&M's going to run away with it because Auburn is still hung up on the horrendous officiating that was their game last weekend against Oklahoma, or Auburn's going to be so angry about what happened that they're just going to take it out on the Aggies, which I'm going to go with the latter. Give me Auburn in this one.
Okay, upset here. 2 upsets for Tim. What about you, Arthur?
I'm going to have to go with the Aggies. College Station is an amazing place. I still need to go. I'm tired of watching it on TV. I really want to visit College Station during basketball season, during football season. It does not matter. It looks so much fun. But I'm going to go with College Station in this one. I believe they're going to be playing poised. I believe that they know what to expect from Auburn. Like Tim said, coming off that back-breaking loss against Oklahoma last week because of, bad officiating. But I believe Texas A&M gets the job done.
Listen, with all due respect to the Seattle Seahawks, Texas A&M is the true original 12th man. That is one of the most electric atmospheres in all of college football. And for Auburn to have to go on the road to Norman and then turn around to have to go on the road to Texas A&M, that's too big of an ask. I've also got the Aggies winning this football game. What do we have next year? I believe we've got Arizona and Iowa State taking on one another. Good Big 12 matchup. Tim, who you got in this one?
Give me the Cyclones. I think they're a nice top 25 team that I think is going to sneak into the college football playoff just because they're going to go all the way to the Big 12 championship game.
Arthur.
I'm going to have to go with Iowa State as well. Arizona offense has been playing very well, but I just think that Iowa State is just going to be too much to handle for the Wildcats, to be honest.
So do I. Listen, I'm a fan of Rocco Beck, the quarterback for Iowa State. I think he brings a lot of experience to the table. Iowa State has a recent history of solid, experienced quarterbacks. Brock Purdy was there not long ago. I think Rocco Beck's done a solid job there. So give me the Cyclones to win this football game. Who do we have next year? Okay, we've got Big 12 matchup, BYU and Colorado. It's going to be kind of a nightcap game tonight at 10:15. Tim, who you got in this spot?
Man, should I say it? Give me the Mormons.
Playing off farther. The white boys can play, Tim.
The white boys can play. Yeah, give me BYU. Listen, I wish Colorado and Deion Sanders would be better. I'm a big fan of what Deion has done in Colorado and before, obviously, this season, and I wish they could have just been better. But, again, I think right now it's BYU is just going to walk into Boulder and just, roll the Buffaloes over.
What about you, Arthur? This was your cover game, right?
Yeah, man. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. They blew them out last year by 22. Shedeur still had a pretty good game. I mean, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. But that was their starting quarterback. That was their bona fide defining starting quarterback into Shedeur Sanders. Again, if they did that to him, what in the world do we think BYU is going to do to whoever Colorado wants their quarterback to be this week? And I'm pretty sure they won that game on the road as well. So, yeah, it's going to be BYU all the way for me.
I've got the upset, baby. Give me the Colorado Buffaloes at home, getting a revenge game against BYU. Listen, we've seen some shockers in college football all season long. A lot of the country is going to be seeing this game because it's going to be a late night matchup. I'm telling you, there's some shocking results in college football every year. Deion Sanders going to have those guys ready to play. As you said, Arthur, got the doors blown off them last year against BYU. I think they're going to bounce back, get the W against the Cougars. Give me Colorado to win this game. All right. Three of the best games in college football. We're going to start with LSU going on the road to Ole Miss. A little bit of a family dynamic. Lane Kiffin's daughter is dating one of the LSU linebackers. So a little bit of a fun sort of back and forth situation here. Who do you got in this game, Tim?
This is going to be an interesting one because if LSU's offense plays the way they have all season long, give me Ole Miss by at least 10 because LSU, Garrett Nussmeier has been one of the biggest disappointments I think I've seen, and the entire LSU offense has been a massive disappointment. So I'm going to take Lane Kiffin as long as LSU's offense continues to just not produce.
I mean, I can think of one bigger disappointment than Garrett Nussmeier, and it rhymes with EJ Swagway. But we'll touch on that. Arthur, who you got in this game?
You know what, man? I'm gonna have to go with Ole Miss, and it isn't because of
you
LSU's
changed your pick last second. We had you locked in for LSU.
I know. That's true. That's true. But man, this is a very great power move. This is mental games by Lane Kiffin. No. This is great mental games by Lane Kiffin. I'm going to send my daughter to mess around with her boyfriend, who just so happens to be on the defensive side of LSU. You know what's going to happen? He's not going to be able to get to the quarterback. He's not going to be able to do anything on defense because my daughter's going to make sure she put it on him. So I'm going to have to go with Ole Miss. And this one, I'm just kidding, though. I'm going to go with LSU. I believe LSU is going to win this one in Ole Miss. But if Ole Miss wins, just remember, that was a great mental. I see the mental gymnastics right there, Coach.
Because
I see it. Yeah, it's the daughter. It's the daughter.
I just want to see the post-game interaction between those two. Like that's got to be the single most. I think Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh would have a less awkward interaction than what's going to happen between those two. That would be really interesting. I've got Ole Miss winning this game. Listen, they're at home. To Tim's point, LSU's offense has been pretty disappointing over the course of the season. Ole Miss has run the football well with Lacey. Good play out of the quarterback position. I think the Rebels get the W here and stay unbeaten. All right. The two, I mean, this is as good as it gets in terms of conference matchups in college football. We'll start in the SEC. The two teams that have essentially run the conference over the course of the last decade. The Alabama Crimson Tide, the Georgia Bulldogs. Fantastic matchup in between the hedges. Bama won a classic last year at home against Georgia. Dogs trying to get revenge. Bama trying to go back-to-back with W's against Georgia this year. Tim, who you got in this matchup?
I'm going to take the Bulldogs. I'm trying to be extremely unbiased here because if I was going to decide between the lesser of two evils, I would take Alabama. But I think that with everything that's going on with Alabama, with Kalen DeBoer, just not having the wherewithal like Nick Saban used to. And again, it's Nick Saban. You're not going to live up to Nick Saban standards. Otherwise, I'm going to take the Bulldogs in this one.
Gotcha. What about you, Arthur?
I'm going to have to go with Georgia as well. Again, I didn't like their game and how they started off against Tennessee. But the way that they finished the game, that's all that matters, right? It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. So I'm going to have the Georgia Bulldogs in the revenge game against the Alabama Crimson Tide.
I'm still concerned with what I saw in the trenches by Alabama against Florida State back in week one. Like, I have never, certainly under Nick Saban, you never saw this. I've never seen an Alabama team get pushed all over the field for 3.5 hours. Georgia's got the ability to do that to Bama as well. I was really impressed. Again, kudos where it's due to Gunnar Stockton. The deep ball was working. Georgia's upgraded the receiving core in the transfer portal. I've also got the Dogs winning this game against Alabama. And finally, a big Big Ten matchup between the Oregon Ducks and the Penn State Nittany Lions, two teams with national championship aspirations. It's a rematch of last year's Big Ten title game. Starting with you, Tim, who you got in this one?
If you're going to do the whiteout, you got to do it at night. And this is why I'm taking Penn State in this one. I think it's going to be a very close matchup. I just think at the end of the day, Penn State and James Franklin are going to pull it out. They are going to overtake Oregon, and it's going to fuel Oregon, I think, for the rest of the year. But Penn State needs this win.
You rolling with Dan Lanning or James Franklin, Arthur? You're muted, I think.
Dang, man, that's crazy. I'm gonna roll with James Franklin.
Not the only one. Yes.
Nah, for real. I clicked the microphone, saw that I was unmuted, and for some reason still clicked the microphone. That's wild. But no, I'm gonna roll with James Franklin. You talked about this earlier. You got to start somewhere. You're 4-20 in the big matchups. You got to get number 5. You got to get some confidence really boosting in your team, right? going into later on in the season when you have to play the big matchups against another one like Ohio State, the Ohio State Buckeyes, these ones matter, right? And these ones separate the good from the great. These ones separate they maybe win the college football championship too. No, they are a legit contender. And again, they got Jim Knowles on defense, championship coach with the Ohio State Buckeyes last year, who's going to do everything he can to make sure the Oregon Ducks do not play backyard football. They're not able to throw the ball all over the place. They're going to look beautiful and cute and flashy in their jerseys. We don't care. We're going to dirty them jerseys up and send them back to the trash.
Love it. All right, so look, we've talked about at the start of the show and really for the last hour and a half about James Franklin, 4-20 against top 10 teams over the course of his career. This is it's a massive game for Oregon. I don't want to shortchange that, but Oregon can be fine long-term. But as we discussed earlier, Penn State loses this game. Boy, they're in trouble because if they lose to Ohio State, that game, by the way, in the horseshoe, and the Buckeyes did beat Penn State last year in Happy Valley. This is a whiteout. This is a team that, in theory, especially with the home field advantage, Penn State probably is better than. Certainly more people in the preseason took Penn State to win the Natty than they did to Oregon. I'm going to give James Franklin the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to take Penn State to win this game. They absolutely have to win. I don't know if there's been a game in the first month of the college football season where there has been a coach under more pressure to win a game than James Franklin in this spot. Maybe Dabo Swinney later this year against South Carolina maybe. But as of right now, James Franklin's got to get a W for the Penn State Nittany Lions. I think Drew Aller's going to play well. I think they're going to run the football effectively. D-line is really, really good for both squads. I like Penn State in this spot to be able to dominate in the line of scrimmage, dominate the trenches line of scrimmage. Give me the Penn State Nittany Lions to get the W. And with that is all the time we have for today's Saturday Morning Tailgate podcast. Appreciate everybody stopping by on this Saturday morning to kick off your college football Saturday as always. Hope you tune in to us next week, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific time, here on YouTube, here on X, here on the Grid Network. We will see you guys then. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. God bless y'all. Peace out.
God bless.